今晚我想来点胖老爹的炸鸡全家餐，配波霸薯条。
有帅China 应该。
Sure, today is the RCEP. So how many of you know this organization, this FTA? We call it RCEP. Oh, by the way, just for a reminder, next week we have the midterm exam. A little bit postponed, but hopefully we can, because of our visiting tour and lots of events, so a little bit postponed. And also on the Thursday, next Thursday, we have our midterm exam for the supply chain management. Actually, because we have to attend one conference, but I don't want to delay your schedule, so I arrange the midterm exam on also match our conference. So next Thursday and Friday, you have two midterm exams, and you can bring one A4 sheet. Both sides you can write whatever you want, because I provide lots of slides. Hopefully, you can well utilize your A4 sheet. So just for the reminder, we have the midterm exam. Alright, and after the midterm exam, we will start our midterm presentation. Since we have lots of students here, I'm a little bit, I guess, maybe we need 2 or more than 2 weeks. But again, everyone, I would still wish you can have the quality presentation. So after midterm exam, I will try to draw the presentation order. So everyone we will determine who will present in the first week, second week, or third week. Hopefully we just need 2 weeks. And sometimes if you want to present earlier, you can switch. You can switch the presentation order. And specific rule, during the presentation, I wish everyone can introduce one of your favorite songs in your home country. Just 1 minute would be fine. 1 to less than 3 minutes. Please don't choose the very long. But I just want to share because this is kind of global supply chain management. So sometimes we share a little bit. And although we have very limited time, but still I wish we can have a quality presentation. So everyone's supposed to have 10 to 12 minutes. You can introduce one paper, and so far no duplication so far. And I received some papers. I will try my best to update the list again today. And so you can check out the eCampus system. Then, anyway, we finish our midterm exam, we will start from our midterm presentation, consecutive 2 or 3 weeks. Very soon, I will give 1 more week to session, and then we will jump to the holiday, then suddenly jump to the final exam. So final term project presentation. So very soon. So I would say almost we have very limited time to, but I still wish to finish all this because it's related to your evaluation. In general, I wish to give you all of you the A+, but we don't have this rule. But I will try my best to give you very satisfying scores since some of you all contribute to the discussion or lots of things. So I wish I can give you a very good grade. And final exam, I decided to give you take home. So you can bring my final exam sheet back home, turn in 1 week. Certainly since it's kind of the take-home exam, so some question will be kind of open question. No exact answers. I just want to see how you analyze this question. Very similar to the news we discuss here every week, but I will bring other news with you. I don't have time to share with you. I may want to discuss with you during the final exam. So it's kind of open question. You have an entire 7 days to answer my final challenge. Okay? Hopefully you can pass. Alright, so today I would like to talk about this issue is, how many of you know this issue? India with the RCEP? No? Okay, anyway, I will give you 9 minutes. So this news just came up a few days ago. just few days ago. And mainland China, after 8 years long discussion, they successfully bring this new big free trade zone in the world. We call it RCEP, RCEP. RCEP, they have the 15 countries involved. So I draw, not my draw, some people draw this kind of figure. You can see like all around the East Asia, including the original 10 countries in the Southeast Asia, and also plus mainland China, Japan, South Korea, New Zealand, Australia, 15 countries. But today we will talk about India. Since India is kind of different with Taiwan. Taiwan has no choice. We cannot choose to join or whether to join or not. But India has the choice. So India finally decided to reject to join this organization. I would like to talk about this. So start from this. I will give you first of all give you the one video so you can know the more background information. Then I will try to tell you is this the right decision or not a good decision. I have two videos in my slides, but although this is only 3 minutes, but this is not clear. But this kind of supporting material, I will not play here. You can go back home to change this. Okay. And also under my slides, you will see I attach lots of the link. So this is for the entire news. This is for the entire 15 countries list. So I give you hold this here, these two videos. I like to give you this, the second one. It's around 9 to 10 minutes, but you can quickly know the background for the RCEP and why India decide to quit. But today my question will be is this a good decision or not? How will you think? After during the discussion, I will give you all other data. Again, I like to present the data. So today I will give you lots of data to see is this the right decision or not. Alright, so starting from this 9 minutes, hopefully you can quickly know the background.
We have with us in the studio Mr. John Ashra, the High Commissioner of India to Singapore. Welcome.
Thank you.
I'll pick up a point from Dr. Balakrishnan there. Free trade agreements must begin at home. What at home in India made the Prime Minister Narendra Modi reluctant to sign on to the RCEP?
Well, all negotiations in FTAs or any international negotiations are based on a set of domestic interests and national interests. In this particular case, and let's speak about RCEP, let me first say that India understands and believes in the strategic and economic merits of RCEP. Since 2012, we have negotiated in good faith with a great deal of commitment, and a lot of hard work has gone into it. I've personally been associated with it for some time last year when it was being done in Singapore. We've also been pretty flexible and made some concessions on our side, particularly in the area of services. But there were concerns for our industry and for our agricultural sector in the way eventually the agreement turned out to be in Bangkok. We were particularly concerned, as you can imagine, that our trade deficit with the RCEP countries had gone up from $7 billion in 2004 to about $105 billion in 2018, trade deficit. Now, nearly more than half of it is, of course, with China. So what we were looking for is a set of safeguards that would ensure that there was no dumping. We weren't looking for safeguards to protect our industry, but we were looking for safeguards in a way that would prevent dumping either directly or by other countries. And therefore, there were a lot of technical issues relating to the base year, technical issues relating to what triggers safeguards and what is the scope of coverage. There were issues relating to...
Sorry to cut in. So would a very big issue, am I putting it crudely if I say the Indian economy is at this point, for legitimate reasons, not sufficiently competitive to be having a trade agreement which lifts all back?
Alright, so let's quickly highlight here. So basically, the RCEP, the kind of big free trade zone, which means join this organization, you can enjoy the low or even zero tariff. Okay. So in general, most of the country will try to join that if possible, but India views. So let's just talk about the first reason. Anti-dumping. See, free trade zone, which means like a zero or very low tariff, which means you have no power to protect your countries, right? Which means other countries can easily to dumping the very low cost product, agriculture, milk, or lots of different products from different countries. So if you depends on your country, I would like to give you one data. So this is the data for India. Import divided by GDP less than 31%. Export divided by GDP less than 25%. What is the meaning for here? You want to guess? So import less than 1/3, export less than 1/4. What's the information behind this data? Import divided by GDP less than 1/3. Export divided by GDP less than 1/4. You want to guess? What's the information behind this data? This data shows like the India not really need to trade with outside country. You see, they nearly finished by their own self. They can make in India, they can produce in India, they can marketing and sales in India. Because no matter import or export, there are very few percentage, less than 1/3. It's very few. If you check the United States, check by either Taiwan, lots of countries, no matter sometimes import, sometimes export, they will have very high percentage to maintain these countries to survive. But India, very specifically less than 1/3 or less than 1/3, no matter export or import, which means they can satisfy by their own self. So this is the first very specific situation. So India have the chance to, and they have the power to refuse to join the RCEP. And the first reason is anti-dumping. So they don't want to lose the power to protect their own products. Okay, then we go to further.
Whereas with 15 other countries.
What we have, we're willing to make we already have CECA and FTAs with ASEAN, with Korea, Japan, Singapore separately, Thailand, and others. We're negotiating with Australia and New Zealand. So it isn't that we're not committed to free trade. And by the way, we are continuing to open our economy, continuing to make it easy for people to do business in. We've climbed from 142 to 63 in a matter of 4 years in the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business Index. But really here we were looking at the balance of negotiated interests. And from our perspective, when you enter into an FTA, there are also, you're opening up yourself to a commitment for unfettered, in a sense, imports of a large range of goods. Currently, especially in our small-scale industries, and especially in our farm sector, there were serious concerns that if we were to open at this stage, and in the manner in which the agreement was structured so far, that it could cause serious injuries to our industry, and particularly at a time when we are in the process of major internal reorganization, modernization, and restructuring of our industry, particularly through Prime Minister's flagship Make in India program. So yes, we were all set if those concerns relating to certain kinds of safeguards had been addressed to join.
But see, as you mentioned, negotiations started 2012.
Yes.
And this is the former Indian High Commissioner to the UK. He said this is a major missed opportunity. India needed to move ahead in the last 5 years towards further land, labor, legal reforms, and of course he's talking about currency as well. So it's not a surprise. You've had the years to do this referendum. And as an example, your Prime Minister tried to move on land reform, and the domestic political backlash was not good for him, so he had to back off from that. Does not India have to make these tough, painful, hard choices now?
Well, I'd say that we are making those tough, hard choices. Look, we've covered a lot of ground in the 5 years that this government has been in office. As I just mentioned to you, look at the distance we've traveled in terms of our reforms. in terms of making it easier for people to do business in India. And it is reflected also in the steep hike in the foreign direct investments in India. India is one of the most favored destinations for FDI, not just because of the market or the opportunity, but because it has become easier to get into India and operate there. We have reduced our taxes, we have made our tax regime more transparent, more administration is much better, compliance requirements have been reduced. Capital markets are being deepened and expanded. So in every aspect, there is we have removed or repeat 1,400 plus acts or laws, pieces of legislation in just last 5 years. We have introduced more than 10,000 specific steps of reforms in the past 5 years. And I have to say this, that it is not just the central government, but a number of state governments are also taking very far-reaching and bold measures to make it easier for people to do business and make our industry more competitive. Our infrastructure is expanding at 3 to 4 times the rate it did in previous years. Can you imagine we're building 30 kilometers per day of national highways. We're building 6 ports, 18
So
different ports.
the time is not right now, but give it a while and India could conceivably find the right time to rejoin this free trade.
I would say
This is another issue. So although India refused to join the RCEP this time, all these 15 countries, especially for China, are very angry. So they open another back door to India, saying if they change their mind, they can going back to rejoin in 2 years. So later I will try to ask you, is this the right decision to not join, whether join or not join? And should they rejoin if you choose not join? So later we give you like the 2 consecutive discussions, but you can try to see listening for the background to see whether to rejoin or not. Okay. This is another issue. So very different situation.
I would say that, look, this is in mutual interest of all our partners, not just India, ASEAN and the other members of RCEP, that if they are willing to also look at some of our concerns, which we have very clearly articulated and they are very aware of it, then we would certainly be looking positively at RCEP. So it isn't just a question of where we are at this point of time, but what we expect may be a reflection of where we are at this point of time. So if it is in the interest, and I think in a country the size of India, 1.3 billion people, the third largest economy in Asia, soon to be among the third largest economy in the world, and we are heading towards a target of $5 trillion economy. If there is importance to this market, and I think Asian future depends to a large extent on how we all work together to create a mutual circle of expanding prosperity, then I think it would also be prudent for some of our negotiating partners to once again look seriously if there are those issues and concerns which Prime Minister also spoke about. If those can also once again be revisited, and maybe then we would certainly look at it. We have never said that we're not going to join RCEP. We're saying at this stage of the form it does not address our concerns.
All right, let's move beyond trade right now. And I'll quote the Australian Prime Minister here. He said, of course, the bigger and better deal had India signed on, and he went on to the integration of the economy of the Indo-Pacific is incredibly important for the prosperity of the region, also for its security. The implicit message in this is that RCEP needed India as a counterweight to other concerns for security reasons. India now, the Indo-Pacific strategy, that an RCEP does not have India in it. Does India now need to be maybe expanding its outreach because it has relatively not stepped up at this point on the RCEP?
You got a fair point, but let me say this to this. See, our commitment to Indo-Pacific region, our vision for Indo-Pacific region stands. We remain deeply committed to playing our role in advancing a vision of an open, inclusive and balanced region, connected by secure seas, integrated by trade, which is stable, peaceful and prosperous. We'll do our part in partnership with our great partners in ASEAN region and others. But I'd say that FTAs is one indicator of either an openness of an economy or its willingness to be part of the global stream of trade. There are other measures, including the ones that we are taking domestically. In addition to that, our political commitment remains strong. Our security cooperation in the region is expanding very rapidly. With Singapore's, in fact, just having the air exercises in India, and we've just completed a trilateral exercise, just to give you an example. But what is more important is that we share a very clear vision with our ASEAN partners in a rules-based international order, in multilateralism, and for all countries to abide by their international commitments. So we will continue to work with countries at political level, at security and defense level, but also economically. And I can assure you that our commitment to expanding our trade and investment relations, our people-to-people ties, our connectivity will continue to grow in the region.
Well, thanks very much indeed, Mr. John Marshall.
Okay, so hopefully you can quickly know the background within the 9 minutes discussion. Now I have 3 questions for you, and this is after the discussion topic. But first of all, I would like to ask your opinions. Do you think India should join the ASEAN or refuse to join the ASEAN? Okay, quickly survey. How many of you support India to join the ASEAN? Oh, okay, you're from India?
I'm from India.
Okay, good. So all others means like a refuse. Okay? Alright, very good. Okay. Alright, so we have one support and all others maybe no comment or whatever. My second question would be like if you right now you choose to similar to India right now, they make a decision to not join the ASEAN. Will you think should they join in 2 years or not? So they rejoin or not? Okay, now if you think they should rejoin, please raise your hand. Okay, Andy. Okay, and Naomi. Okay, and also okay. Oh. So all others means they still need to refuse to join that. All right, so very good. So first of all, the first question, I think Gosha will be leader to lead. If you decide to talk about a discussion that why India should join the ASEAN, please join Gosha's team, right? Okay. Second thing would be like if you think they refuse right now, but they want to rejoin in the near future, please join Hendy's team. Okay, because he is the supporter rejoin. For the third thing, like we keep refuse in 2 years. Let me see who will be the leader today. But actually, I want to name like who never joined the leader before. Let me check. Hendy have already joined once before, but today he is the only one to support to refuse right now, but rejoin later. So maybe we need to see what's going on. And 13, like see, keep refuse. Let me see who haven't. Okay, maybe Sally, and you are the 13 leader. Oh, okay. Wow. Let me see who else. We have Lucas before. We also have Joy, right? Joy we discussed last week. Have you been the leader before? No? Okay, good. Okay, I'll ask Joy. Okay, so 1, 2, and 3. I give it quickly 5 to 10 minutes. Quickly tell me the reason. So if you want to support India, so the first thing led by Gosha talk about like India should join right now. The second thing led by Hendy, which means like India should not join right now, but they can join later. The third thing led by Joy means like India always should not join this kind of FTA ASEAN. But please give me your reason in 10 minutes. Okay? Now you can separate in 3 groups. I have 4 questions, the 4th question but later. So 3 groups. So if you think the first thing, if you think they should join right now, you can feel free to join the discussion led by Gosha. If you want to join a Hendy's team, which means they are not make decision right now, but perhaps it's support to make decision later. The third thing led by Joy means always refuse. Okay, see which one you like. But give me the reason. Give me a team reason. The team leader, please, Gosha, please write down the your team member's name. Please write down your team member's name and student ID. Okay, submit to me. Okay.
Apa dia bawa masuk?